With 5 generations of Pokemon games down, it was finally time to move on to the world of 3D games. The Gen 6 games were actually the first ones I bought for myself after moving out and living on my own, so they kind of have a special place in my heart too. Like, in the real world, I felt like an adult, but in the Pokemon world, I would never grow up. Plus, I was living with my best friend at the time, so it was a whole bunch of new exciting experiences. I know X and Y games are kind of dunked on because they're so easy, but hey, they're still a lot of fun. I chose to play through Pokemon Y, and without much delay, started up my newest adventure. Once again, I left my team in charge of things back in Unova, and my mom and I packed up again, this time to move to the cultured land of Kalos, where she actually finally picked up a hobby. Not that I ever get to see her do it, but apparently she owns a Rhyhorn now. Also a fletchling, I guess, because my day starts with one of them punching me in the face to wake me up. My mom tells me to get dressed because our new neighbors, surprise surprise, are my age, and they want to meet me. They tell me to meet them and 2 others in the next town, so I take a fine stroll across the shortest and saddest Route 1 I've ever seen. Once I've arrived in Aquacord Town, I sit down with a strange group of people. I get to meet all of my new friends that have been thrust upon me without my consent. Calum and Shauna were the ones who invited me out. Trevor and Tierno are the 2 I haven't met yet, and they say they've been trusted by the professor of this region to gift Pokemon to the 3 of us who live in Vanville Town. They also ask if they can give me a nickname, but all of their suggestions sound stupid, so I just tell them they can call me Chessie. Then my new starter choices are presented to me. Since my last Fire-type starter was all the way back in Johto, I decided it was time to go with Fire again. And I chose the darling Fennekin to be my newest partner. It's a female again, so I name her Pele. The volcano goddess, I think? She's got a careful nature. Alright. Not the best, but not the worst either, I guess. While I'm leaving to go show my mom my new Pokemon, Shauna challenges me to my first battle. But, surprise, she chose the Pokemon weak to mine, so it's an easy win. I go back home to say goodbye to my mother again. Off to conquer the world again, sweetie? You betcha, Mom. See you again right before we move. And with that, Pele and I begin our adventure through Kalos. On Route 2, I catch a Pidgey that I named Chickpea, and then we enter the Santaloon Forest, where Shauna asks if she can hang out with me. I guess so. She offers to heal up my team for free in the meantime, so yeah, I can't turn that down. In fact, everyone seems to be hanging out in the forest at the moment, so I don't know why she chose to follow me around, but whatever. While in the woods, I catch a Pansage that I named Cabbage, and a Scatterbug that I named Apple. I don't really know why, I just saw its dumb round head and thought, Apple. After wandering around for a bit, I make it to Santaloon City, where I buy a hat. I finally get to customize my own outfit. Nice. Oh, also Apple evolved, so good for him. With all that done, I decide we're ready to challenge the first gym. The leader here is Viola, and she's a bug-type trainer. I've got a Firefox and a bird, so needless to say, it really wasn't much of a fight. She trapped me with Infestation, so I couldn't switch out to Chickpea if I needed to, but I didn't need to. After the battle, Apple evolved again, this time into an orange Vivian. The name Apple still kind of fits, because orange is like a fall color, and apples are kind of a fall fruit. Whatever, moving on.
On Route 4, I caught a Skitty and a Flabébé that I didn't really plan on using. And also Pele evolved into Braixen. At last, we get to Lumiose City, which is mostly closed off due to a power outage. I don't know why not having power prevents me from walking down the street, but hey, I'm not here to question your city running rules. Those will all change once I'm in charge. Anyway, while I'm in the city, we finally get to meet Professor Sycamore. He challenges me to a battle against him while using all 3 of the Kanto starters. They're only level 10 though, so it's an easy win. Afterwards, he says I can choose and keep one of them. Wow, 2 free Pokemon from the professor. What a breakthrough. I chose Bulbasaur and I name him Goose. Again, I don't really know why. When we're back down in the lobby, I meet a guy named Lysander. He's got big, spiky red hair, so, anyone can instantly tell he's a sketchy dude. He goes off about how the world needs to be beautiful or something, and I start comparing him to another pointy-haired extremist. After all that goes down, I start messing with the PSS a bit, and I decide I want to do some wonder trading. Obviously, the team I'm going to beat the league with will be made up of mostly my own Pokemon, but I'd love to see if I can nab something really cool or rare through some wonder trading. So Goose, Skitty, and Cabbage go out into the world to find new trainers, and I don't get anything back that really grabbed my interest. So I put them all back in the PC and we move on. On Route 5, I catch an Abra and finally find a Skidoo, a Pokemon I've wanted on my team for a really long time now. I name him Yakul, from one of my favorite movies as a kid, and happily add him to the team. Tierno suddenly challenges me to a dance-off, which is just his way of saying he wants to battle, so I use Yakul to easily crush his Corphish. Oh, also Chickpea evolves into Pidgeotto. We then make it to Camphor Town, where I get the itch to Wonder Trade some more. While getting rid of some of my already traded Pokemon, I'm traded a low-level Mawile. At the time, I figured I didn't have any teammates who could Mega Evolve, which is kind of the plot point in this region, and Mawile does have a Mega Form, so I decide to hold on to it. Plus, Fairy Steel type is pretty good. I unfortunately can't nickname the Pokemon since it was caught by somebody else, but if I could, I would have called her Hanya. Afterwards, I visit the Chabonnet Castle, which has absolutely nothing in it. Then I find that a Snorlax is blocking the road again. Ah, a classic. So Shauna and I visit the Parfoon Palace to find the Pokeflute. While there, Shauna learns about capitalism, and we chase down a stupid Furfru in the gardens as a favor to an old rich man so that he can let us borrow the flute. And since he's so happy we reined in his precious Pokemon that was clearly trying to run away from him, he sets off a fireworks show in thanks, which leads to a somewhat awkward attempt at a romantic moment with Shauna. Girl, you're like 11. Oh, wait, so am I. On my way back from the palace to find the Snorlax again, I stumble across a Honedge in the grass that I also gladly catch and name Sting. The team is starting to come together. There's a few members that I know won't be permanent, but for the moment I'm pretty happy with it. We use the flute to wake up the Snorlax, and I proceed to kill it, since I still don't care to have one on my team. Then on Route 7, I joined the Battle Chateau to battle some more old rich people, and while wandering around in the grass... I can't believe I actually ran into a shiny Pokemon. I was really hoping I would see at least one during this entire challenge, not including the Gyarados and Johto. And not only is Hoppip freaking cute, but a pink Jumpluff? Yes. Of course it would happen in these games where it's actually a bit easier to get shinies, but hey, at least it happened. I happily caught my random encounter shiny Hoppip, and my friend said to name her Wish, so I did, and added her to the team in place of Chickpea. I know now I have 2 grass types, but we'll deal with type distribution later.
After going through the cave, we made it to Amberette Town, where I get to ride on a Rhyhorn to get into the Glittering Cave. That's when I run into a funnily dressed guy with weird hair and sunglasses who says he's here to get fossils from a scientist or something, and attacks me for interrupting him. Oh yeah, you're clearly on the bad guy team. It's an easy win, and Wish evolves into a Skiploom. After saving the scientists with Calum, he offers us a choice between fossils, so I take the Jaw fossil, go back to the lab, and revive it into a Tyrant, name him Anzu, and add him to the team to temporarily replace Yakul. We then make it to Silage Town, where I trade a Love Disc I fished up for an NPC's Steelix, which seems like a ridiculous trade. I also wander around on Route 10 for a bit, and find a Hawlucha, which I also gladly catch and add to the team in place of Apple. I name him Chalupa. Wish also evolved into a cute pink Jumpluff, and with that I switch Yakul back onto my team so that I have 2 grass types to take on the gym here in this town. The gym leader is Grant, and he uses the rock types. The fossil types to be exact. Meaning he also only has 2 Pokemon. I led with Jumpluff, but he led with Amara, unfortunately. Which I knew I was weak to, so I switched to Pele, only to get paralyzed and go down to Rock Tomb after being unable to attack 3 turns in a row. Bad start. I send out Yakul to kill with a Bulldoze attack, and then I resend out Wish to take on the Tyrant afterwards, but we miss a Poison Powder and go down to Rock Tomb again. I really didn't want to rely too heavily on Yakul this battle. I wanted to spread out the experience, but I let Yakul back out and he takes down the Tyrant too. I had been doubting for quite a while on whether I wanted to use Wish or Yakul as my primary grass type on the team, but after that battle, Yakul has really proven he's far more reliable of a Pokemon, so with our second gym badge under our belts, I place my beautiful shiny Jumpluff in the PC and keep Yakul on my team for good. After that mess, we made it to Geosenge Town, where there's nothing of much interest here, other than Karina, the gym leader of another city who happens to be visiting, and she challenges us to a battle against her 2 Lucarios. It's an easy victory for us, and afterward Yakul finally evolves into an awesome looking Go-Go. We then make our way through Mirror Cave, where Pele also evolves into a Delphox. It's really weird having a fully evolved starter Pokemon after only 2 gyms. It feels wrong. Despite my grievances, we make it out of the cave and into Shellor City. Visit the Mega Guru at his weird house, and Caleb and I have a battle to decide who gets the Mega Ring. I was smart for once and predicted he was going to start with a Meowstic, so I started with Honedge and get the easy kill. Chalupa kills the Absol and Yakul takes out the Frogadier. I win. Take that. I get the Mega Ring. Haha. After all that, I'm set loose and go take on the gym. This is Karina's gym, and she uses the fighting type, but for some reason she doesn't use her Lucarios in her battle for the badge. Maybe she thinks they'd be too strong? Come on, give me a challenge! Anyway, Chalupa with Flying Press easily takes out both her Mienfoo and her Machoke. I then use Aerial Ace to take out her Hawlucha. A clean sweep. Good job, Chalupa. We get our badge and Sting evolves into a Doublade, which is pretty cool. We then go back to the weird house where I get my Mega Bracelet and Karina challenges me yet again. This time she wants me to Mega Evolve her Lucario while she Mega Evolves the other one, and then we pit them against each other. Okay. They both Mega Evolve, only for mine to miss his attack and go down to the opposing Mega Lucario. Okay then, we lost that, but she offers me her Lucario to keep anyway. I accept her offer, but then I put her Lucario in the PC. I already had Minya, I can't use another one, but I'm too nice, and cowardly, to turn down her offer to her face. Moving on, a dude hanging out by the river offers us a free Lapras so we can serve across to Route 12. We accept his offer too, and then put the free Lapras in the PC as well. Now we're in Coumarine City. We ride a train to the other half of the town, which is kind of a weird way how they set that all up. But anyway, Calum challenges me to another battle outside the gym, which I accept, only for it to go exactly the same as last time. Next, we challenge the gym. I really don't need to prep for this one. It's Ramos, and he's a Grass-type trainer who also only uses 3 Pokemon, all of which are weak to Chalupa and his Flying Press. Pele is a little overpowered for this gym, so I let her take a break, and Chalupa and I just sweep Ramos' team with ease. Easy win, easy badge. After that, I go into the desert and wander around in the wind for a while before invading the power plant, which has apparently been taken over by Team Flare Grunts. The bad guy team, if that wasn't clear enough. We made our way through the power plant, beating up the grunts, and then Chalupa easily beats up the 2 ugly admins and their Pokemon. Now that we've freed the workers at the power plant, they can restore power back to Lumiose City, which was half closed down before. While making my way back there, we run into a giant 9-foot tall man who mutters some weird nonsense and wanders off. Back in Lumiose City, Shauna finds me again and brings me to the center plaza to watch them relight the Lumiose Tower, which is basically the Eiffel Tower. And then we have another kind of attempt at a romantic moment. And then I wander off to explore the city and do a bit of shopping. After I've gotten all styled up, I decide to take on the gym. The leader here is Clement, and he uses the electric type. But my Go-Go knows Dig, as well as Bulk Up, so as is pretty typical with the Kalos gym leaders, we swept the team again. Another easy badge. Professor Sycamore then wants me to meet up with him at this really sketchy red cafe with Lysander again, and he makes it super clear that he has ulterior motives. I then wander around Route 14 and 15 with Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor. We visit a not-so-scary haunted house, and then I find and catch a Goomy. I've never had the local Kalos dragon on my team before, so I was kind of excited to use it. I named him Orion, which is a type of slug apparently. I ended up replacing the Tyrant with him. I really tried to use Tyrant, but he just kept disappointing me, so I gave the spot on the team to Goomy. I then make it to Lavier City, the first city to have a fairy-type gym leader. Her name is Valerie, and she's got a really cool design, and a cool gym too, but, you know, she's a Kalos gym leader, so I wasn't worried. I started the battle with Pele, who set up Light Screen, and then one-shot her Mawile with Flamethrower. Next was her Sylveon, which Doublade took out with an Iron Head. Last was her Mr. Mime. It hangs on with a few Hyper Potions, since I can't quite knock it out with one hit, but Iron Head eventually takes him out too. Another badge, thank you! We then notice some odd activity going on at the Pokeball factory, and Shauna manages to strategically lead Team Flare member guarding the doorway, so Calum and I break in to see Team Flare has taken over this corporation as well. Geez, the managers and police force here really can't do anything, can they? So we beat up the admins here too by riding along the conveyor belts and save the Pokeball factory from being taken over. As a thank you for saving the factory, the CEO or whatever offers me a choice between a Big Nugget or a Master Ball. I'll take the ball, thank you. After that, I make my way to Demdemill Town. The Frost Cavern is above this area, so I go in to explore, and while training up in there, Orion evolves into a Sliggoo, and I finally use a Duskstone that I had gotten from super training on Duoblade to get myself a friggin' awesome Aegislash. A must-have for Kalos playthroughs if I do say so myself. While in the cave, Trevor and I find that Team Flare is harassing an Abomasnow, so we beat them up. And the Abomasnow gifts me a Megastone that I will never use as thanks. After that debacle, I'm able to ride the Mamoswine through the snow and make it to Anastar City, where we get another clean sweep against Calum's team in front of the gym again. By the way, at this point in the game, I had actually found out I can't actually obtain most of the Megastones to give to my Pokemon until post-game, which means no Mega Mawile for us. In fact, no Megas for us period, since I traded away my Bulbasaur. Yeah, that's fine though, because Mawile is a traded Pokemon. She's been leveling up way faster than all of my other Pokemon, so she's kind of the plan A, B, C, D, E, F. F, in case we need her. So for now, I'll just keep Mawile on the team. I could still use a Fairy Steel type. Anyway, Anastar City has a gym leader, Olympia, the Psychic type user. So, I kicked in her gym doors, ran across her magic space platform thingies, and challenged her to a battle. I led with Sting, set up Swords Dance, and proceed to one-hit KO sweep her entire team. Man, there's just no challenge to the gyms in this region. Once I'm the leader here, I'm gonna force all of you guys to have at least a full team. Jeesh. Now give me that badge. After leaving her gym, Lysander calls everyone on the phone just so that he can announce that we're all about to die. Because he plans to wipe out all life as we know it, so the world can remain beautiful. Or something. At least he had the decency to warn us beforehand. Not that anyone could possibly be surprised. Anyway, after receiving news that he plans to kill us all, I chose to waste time and started wonder trading for fun again. And I actually ended up getting a shiny level 100 Cobalion. Ha! Of course I'm not gonna use it, but it's just funny to see these obviously hacked Pokemon every once in a while. After I had traded my fill, I raid the Team Flare hideout that was inside that sketchy cafe in Lumio City. Lysander attacks me at the entrance, but I easily beat his team, so he hides in his elevator, and I have to scour the hideout to beat up his admins again in order to get the lift key. Down in the basement, I find the super tall dude again, who's in prison now, I guess. He tells me that his name is AZ, and he's like 10,000 years old. He then gives me a history lesson about their region and how he built a machine that can end all life as we know it, which is always good news to receive. I then go into another room where some ugly guy tells me I can choose between two buttons to either shut off the world-ending machine or to launch it. I obviously chose the blue button over the red one, and he tells me, hey, I chose correctly, but it doesn't matter because he's gonna launch the machine anyway. Ah, the classic your choices don't matter scenarios. Why even let me push a button? Why not just launch the second you saw me? It would have saved us both a lot of time, you know. Anyway, a giant death flower pops out of the ground and tips over all the houses in the village, which really sucks, and I feel like they should have been a bit more, attached to the ground. But whatever. Mass destruction ensues. Caleb and I fly to Geosinge Town in order to break into Team Flare's other secret hideout, where I beat up Lysander's team again, and then Shauna joins us as we run through the halls in his basement to beat up more admins and stuff, all the way down to where they're keeping the legendary Pokemon, who has the power to suck life away from other Pokemon or something, Yveltal. As I approach, Yveltal wakes up from his cocoon slumber and attacks us with some really cool battle music to boot. The music doesn't last long though, because I just catch it with the Master Ball. Duh. I named him Bello and tossed him into the box with the others. Lysander shows up again, although he's changed into some kind of Doc Ock costume, and attacks us for the third time. This time though, he Mega Evolves his Gyarados, which is a bit scary since I don't have an electric type, or Mega Pokemon, but Mega Gyarados gains the Dragon typing, and we've got a Fairy type. One play rough attack, and it's dead. Lysander throws a bit of a tantrum over being defeated, and ends up kind of blowing up the town like the poor sport that he is. I don't think anyone dies or anything though, so it's cool. Shouldn't have called us to tell us your evil plans, dum-dum. After we've all calmed down over life nearly being wiped out and the main bad guy just kind of vanishing, I guess, I head back to Route 14, where it happens to be raining and I'm finally able to evolve Sliggoo into Goodra. I now have my fully evolved team I plan to use for the Pokemon League. Then make my way to Kuraway Town, where Sycamore meets up with us again and apologizes for Lysander turning out to be a jerk, which I think we all knew was going to happen. And on my way to the next town, Shauna, Trevor, and Tierno all show up and ask to battle me as thanks for saving the world. Again. Sure, whatever floats your boat, you guys. At last I made it to Snowbell City, and I have to explore the Winding Wood, which is a forest that constantly changes its path, in order to find the secret Pokemon Village, in order to convince the final gym leader, Wulfric, to come back to the gym so we can fight. He agrees to come back, so we meet up at his gym again and start my final battle. Wulfric is an Ice-type trainer, which means that most of his Pokemon are glass cannons. I personally have never been much of a fan of Ice-types. They've got some really cool designs, but they're all just so fragile. Anyway, Sting takes out his entire team with Swords Dance boosted Iron Head, and the final badge is ours. With that, it's a straight shot to Victory Road. Near the end, Caleb attacks us one last time, as is typical of our rivals. After exiting Victory Road, we finally face our final challenge of the playthrough, the Elite Four. Honestly, this run has been one of the easiest, but at least the Elite Four will give me a challenge, right? No. First up, I enter the room of Wilkstrom, the Steel-type trainer. I send out Pele, who's got Flamethrower and Sunny Day. We set up the sun and one-shot his entire team except the Probopass, but he wasn't much of a threat either. The next member I challenge is Malva, She's the fire-type user, so I lead with Arian, and we use Muddy Water to take out her Pyroar and her Chandelure. Ice Beam takes care of the Talonflame, and Yakul comes out to take care of the Torkoal with Earthquake, since Gujar did eventually get down to red HP. 2 down. Third up is Drasna. I've always really liked her design. She seems like the really cool mom and/or grandma. She's a dragon-type trainer, so I send out my own dragon to start attacking with Outrage. We take her Dragalge, Druddigon, and Altaria, but then at the Outrage ends and we get confused, so I switch in Mawile for her Noivern, and one play rough takes care of it. We win. Last is Cybold, the water-type user. This time I finally give Yakul a chance to sweep the team. We set up a few bulk ups, and with Horn Leech to heal and Leaf Blade to strike hard, he managed to take out the entire team by himself. And that's it. All the Elite Four have been dealt with. Last up is the champion, Diantha. Apparently she's a movie star and the only other trainer besides Lysander and Karina to use Mega Evolution. Honestly, I think the gym leaders, at least the late game ones, should have used it too, but whatever. The final battle for Kalos begins and she leads with a Hawlucha, and I lead with Arian. We take it out with an Ice Beam, and I switch to Pele to deal with her Aurorus. A Flamethrower burns it, so she uses a full restore, but I just use Will-O-Wisp and take it out with a Psychic attack. Next she sends out her Tyrantrum, and I send out Arian again to start an Outrage. Once the Tyrantrum is down and Arian is confused again, switch back to Pele to deal with her Gourgeist. Flamethrower takes care of it pretty easily though. Last she sends out her Gardevoir, and Mega Evolves it. I send out Aegislash to tank a Shadow Ball and hit back with the Shadow Claw. It's a one-hit KO, and just like that, it's over. We've won our champion seat for Kalos. I enter the Hall of Fame and gladly add my team so they can be remembered. They deserve it. They were a really fun team to raise, and after that final battle, they actually hold a ceremony in my honor. Lots of people come to celebrate me and my, friends. Except my mom, apparently, since she mentions later how she watched it on TV. Geez, Mom, didn't think you'd get bored of me conquering the world so easily. While at the ceremony, though, AZ shows up again and challenges me to a battle in front of the entire crowd. Arian was already at the front of my party, so he comes out to kill the Torkoal and the Sigilith. Yakul then takes out the Golurk, and after the battle he smiles at me, and in that moment a Floette comes out of the sky and he gets all happy that his Pokemon friend came back to visit him. There was a whole story behind that I'm really not going to explain, but I guess his Pokemon has been giving him the cold shoulder for like thousands of years. And with that happy reunion, it's over. Kalos is mine, and let me tell you, I am gonna make some changes around here. I enjoyed my playthrough as usual. I really loved my team, and the music, and the 3D, and the way you can customize your character. The easy online access was also such a fun concept to me, especially since when I first played a 6th gen game, I'd never been able to play Pokemon online with other people before, so I absolutely loved Wonder Trading and stuff. Kalos will always have a special place in my heart, but as I'm sure everyone noticed, the glaring issue with these games, they are way too easy. The gym leaders are super weak and really need larger teams. The concept of Mega Evolution was really cool, but they needed to use it more. Even I was given very limited Mega options before post-game. And yes, there are ways to make these games more difficult, like Nuzlocking, turning up the XP share, keeping yourself under-leveled, but hey, you do you. And as long as you're having fun while you play, it doesn't matter. And I had fun. Maybe I'll be back soon to do some more shiny hunting.